And we realized we wanted to offer value to the space. So we started 100X Advisors, which is a consulting firm. Fast forward 2 years later, Ian ended up creating Token Metrics, which is an investment platform that helps new investors with concrete research to find hidden gems at a very cheap valuation. So I'm actually an investor on that and also an advisor as well. And yeah, it's been a great year. So we're still looking for gems and looking forward to helping answer any question anyone has. But thank you.
All right, awesome. Mateo, do you want to do an intro as well?
Yeah, sure. So hello everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Just like Google, I've been in the space since 2017. Also an ICO investor, and not directly because of Ian, but the first influencer I did follow in crypto was actually Ian, and back then we had an Excel sheet, and we used to review ICOs, and we used to follow him on YouTube. And then now I've been a Token Metrics member since the day it was actually launched. So what is that, Ian? About a year and a half almost?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've been a member since a year and a half, just a member of the community. And individually, I'm part of also a group of researchers and investors and community called Synergy X. But mainly just doing a lot of research and currently investing in ICOs and a strong supporter and member of the Token Metrics community. So yeah, looking forward to this conversation.
All right, thank you, Mateo. Will?
Yeah, I started crypto back in 2016, 17, around the same time as Ian and Ugo. So I kind of went through the whole ICO phase and such at during that time as well. Right now I'm focusing a lot more on SPACs and stocks.
That's
a
very
little
interesting
bit
too.
What's that?
That's also very interesting. SPACs.
Oh yeah. I mean, right now it's taking a hit, but I got into it really early, so.
All right. Thank you, Will. So this is our second clubhouse, and I believe once we get to 3, we can now also open up our own room. So probably after the next one, we'll make a room for crypto and token metrics. But in general, the format for this, if you have any questions, just simply raise your hand, and then we'll bring you up into the room. And then for this one, based on the feedback from last time, we'll also record this as well. So anybody, if you're in and out, or if you're busy, you'll be able to watch the recording on our channel on YouTube if you like, or maybe on the podcast. Our podcast will be tokenmetrics.com/podcast, and on YouTube it's just youtube.com/tokenmetrics. So yeah, let's take things away. If you have any questions you want to ask us, just raise your hand. It could be anything in crypto in terms of maybe how we personally invest, or if you want us to help you answer any question around crypto, from investing to trading to risk management. Okay, see, we have one question here from McNeil. Let's bring you up here. Hey, McNeil, how are you?
Good. This is a fantastic opportunity here. I got to give it to you. I've been waiting for you to pop up on Clubhouse for I don't know how long. Yeah.
Thank you.
I signed up for Token Matrix, I think last year. Mm-hmm. I haven't been able to actually use it yet because it doesn't work very well with. I'm legally blind. It doesn't work very well with my software yet. But I'm working with a couple people to see if we can build a platform for people with visual impairments, so that they can invest in crypto.
That's awesome.
But I had a question about, like, what happens when somebody has a live mic?
Can somebody go on mute?
Raul.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. I had a quick question about what happens when, and I don't know if this will happen in our lifetime, but when all the 21 million Bitcoins are sold, and what happens with the value at that point? I hope that's a
So basically, if all the 21 million Bitcoins are in circulation and people own them.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say basic supply and demand, right? That's what is really giving Bitcoin a lot of value in the eyes of, I would say, the early adopters, because Bitcoin is finite. So Bitcoin is now being viewed as a store of value. Initially, it was designed to be used as digital cash, but honestly, that's not really the way Bitcoin has ended up playing out. So now Bitcoin is more viewed as digital gold, and now people are viewing other currencies, basically stable coins, as the digital cash, or maybe other currencies such as Dash or Bitcoin Cash, whatever. But in general, Bitcoin to me is viewed as a store of value. So as it gets more scarce, logic would say that the price of it would go up and up, right? That's why lots of people, from initially early adopters to now institutions, they're hedging fiat currencies by buying a piece of Bitcoin, right? So that's kind of the way I view it. Anybody on stage want to also maybe kind of share their perspective?
Yeah, I would just pretty much echo the same thing. The fact that it has 21 million just means that when it gets to that point, that there will be obviously no more Bitcoins minted. So the price can only really kind of go up at that point. And that's why a lot of people prefer it over to cash, especially with what happened recently. So thinking far ahead, people are like, I need to, have some Bitcoin, because when there's a finite supply, it's supply and demand, and price can really only go up at that point because it's very scarce.
Okay, are you asking how are miners rewarded at that point because there's no more to be mined?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, now that's a good question. Right. I mean, honestly, I'm not really a Bitcoin mining expert, but the expectation, I mean, that's a very, very, very valid question, because there would be no incentive for them to really secure the network and go through and mine. So that's something I haven't really kind of delved deep into. Quite frankly, I don't own any Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is great technology. I'm more really into Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies, basically altcoins, right? I'm basically playing the long tail of crypto. Bitcoin was nice for early adopters, but I think from a technology standpoint, there's been better innovation in other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin basically had first mover advantage. So mining wise, that's probably a question I would have to ask Bitcoin miners, but definitely open to anybody else who wants to maybe kind of share their perspective in terms of Bitcoin mining.
I'm in no way an expert, but no one else seems to have, from what I've heard listening through, what's it called? It's a specific podcast, the Crypto Audible. I'll have to pull it up. But basically, there are the whole of the miners can vote and create a consensus for changes to the protocol. So one option down the road is that they could vote to do something else, such as having some type of a higher rate of tax, basically on transactions, or various other ways of sort of like collecting that would get redistributed to miners down the road. But by that point, it would probably be such a high price, because I don't think it gets all mined until like 2030 or 2032 or something, that basically by that point, you wouldn't have to skim a lot of Bitcoin in order to be able to pay the miners a good amount.
All right, thank you, Paul. Oh, and by the way, Paul is also a customer and also equity investor in Token Metrics. So great to have you here, Paul.
I was going to mention, I just raised my hand to come up on stage to say that I think they may have changed the rules in terms of starting a club. So you may be able to do it now if you just press on your profile and then scroll to the bottom. Okay. And then if you're a member of any clubs, to the right of that, there's a little plus sign, and I think people can just start a new club now.
I see it.
That's just at the last upgrade, and I think in the last week.
That's awesome. I'll definitely create a club ASAP. Thank you for that, Paul.
Okay, so as soon as you start that club, and I'll join, so that I can stay in touch with you guys, Ian and Ian and the rest of the team. So I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you too. Okay, all right. Let me go to the next Sorry, I was in the middle of creating the club. Let me go back. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so the way, for those who are just joining, we're taking questions in order. So next up is Black Regal. Welcome.
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How about you?
Hey, I'm good, man. I actually wanted to come on and give you I had a question, but I wanted to give you a shout out too, because I kind of started my crypto investing journey like right when you did in them early days. That I was in like your Telegram groups and all that, like way back in like 17.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So yeah,
welcome.
so I learned
day
a whole
one.
lot.
You were day one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, I wanted to know how familiar you were. Wanted to kind of ask you about a project, if that was cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about OVR?
OVR. So that I have not heard of, unfortunately. I can try to check it out real quick. Is it on CoinGecko?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So I'm seeing here it's on CoinGecko. For those who are new to crypto, CoinGecko is basically a website that has a list of different cryptocurrencies ranked by market cap. It's similar to CoinMarketCap, but CoinGecko is I would say the more popular site now, especially after Binance acquired CoinMarketCap, because CoinGecko adds new coins a lot faster. So looking at this, it has a market cap of 14 million, daily trading volume of about 5 million. In terms of the liquidity, it is pretty liquid, especially on Uniswap. I see here it's tagged as NFTs, so it looks like an NFT play. NFTs.
Yeah, it's like a virtual.
Go ahead.
It's like a virtual reality type deal.
Yeah, so I mean, NFTs have been blowing up, but so typically with us, we like to first do in-depth code reviews before investing in cryptocurrencies. This stems primarily from the last bull run and bear market, and kind of learning our lesson, right? Because lots of projects raise money with just white papers or just with empty promises. We all learn. Yeah. I mean, NFTs are blowing up, but for me right now, the best NFT play that we can officially, at least the one I was trying to invest in, was Flow. That's the blockchain that's powering NBA Top Shot, right? Also from the founders of CryptoKitties, and the market cap is almost getting to $1 billion. So that's the only. If I wanted to invest into NFTs, honestly, that's what I would do. I can't really tell you what to do because that would be investment advice. But what I would personally do is invest in the actual infrastructure, right? So it's kind of like in a gold rush.
Yeah, this one is.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's got NFTs, but it's like it's got like land and stuff like that as well, almost like a Decentraland type deal.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like a virtual reality type deal added to it as well.
So first thing I would say when I'm going through, and let's say without even doing a code review, is there an actual application or dApp you can use? Like, are they live? Is their product live you can actually use and test this?
I'm not sure. That's why I was coming on to see if you had heard of it.
So I'm seeing here they have some iPhone apps, but I don't think I'd have to look deeper into this, unfortunately. But that's the first thing I would look for is looks like there is an app, but can you actually use the token inside their application? Is probably the first thing I would check for. That helps filter out most of the BS in the crypto space. But I see they do have two different applications, one on Android and one on iOS. Now the question is, can you actually use the token and NFTs inside that app? And then if they're making NFTs, what blockchain is it being stored on, right? Are they building it on Ethereum? I would say most projects are building on Ethereum. If not, then...
Yeah, I think it is built on Ethereum.
Yeah. Now, I mean, because there's decent trading volume for a new altcoin. So I'm definitely kind of curious what's causing this to...
And they got a nice community, too. I think their Telegram community is like 29,000 or something.
29,000?
Yeah.
Anybody here heard of that project?
I haven't heard of it, but going off of CoinGecko, the past 30 days is done 576%. So that might be the reason why the trading volume is high. It's just been going up.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, definitely interesting, definitely worth looking into. We'll definitely have our team look into this as well. Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Hey, cool, man. I appreciate it.
And just to add on very briefly, I visited the website, and the token actually does have a utility, and the utility is to actually go in and buy virtual land with the token. And according to their website, they already have over almost 59,000 closed auctions for land. So there is a supply and demand. I would just want to confirm how much of these closed auctions are actual supply and demand, and make sure it's not just buying and reselling to get some marketing. But there is a utility to the token, and there is an app. So it would be maybe worth it to just take a look.
Okay. All right. Definitely will. Thank you, Mateo.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Next question here. Let's go to Ben. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, Ian. Thanks for having me on. Just wanted to say I met you actually back in 2017 when you were doing your global crypto tour. Yeah.
Awesome. Which country was that?
Oh, I'm based in Los Angeles.
Oh, LA. Okay, nice. Was that the one in the like in the bar? Like it was a bar, I think, in LA.
Yeah, it was downtown. I think. Yeah, it was down. Yeah, it was downtown there. So awesome. I wanted to just quick follow up to OVR. I actually stumbled upon that a few days ago when I heard that Atari partnered with Decentral Games. So I was like, oh, what's Decentral Games? And I found out that it was like, part of the metaverse world. So if you look them up on CoinGecko, one of the tags is metaverse. And then I was going through the list. There's only like 10 different companies. So I was like, oh, OVR looks interesting. So I signed up, actually bought some land already. So it's, that's the utility that I'm seeing.
Now, have you done Decentraland? And if so, what's the difference between those two in terms of your experience if you've used both?
It's been a while since I messed around with Decentraland, and I feel like I missed the boat on that. So I felt like OVR was like, the next one. And I was like, let me just jump on that early, just in case it blows up. So we'll have to see how it develops. The reason why I also raised my hand is I wanted to ask you if you're familiar with Audius, the music blockchain platform.
Yes, yeah. Actually, our team was just talking about this on our team call because we have a research team, and we're just talking about this. And this, so far, from a fundamental analysis perspective, has scored the highest out of the projects we've scored thus far. For those who don't know, Audius is basically building music. I'll say Spotify on a blockchain at a high level. That was kind of the understanding I got. They're basically building music on a blockchain. But the main thing that really stood out was their early backers. I'm here on the website. Their site is Audius, audius.org. I think it's maybe under team. Let me take a look.
It's audius.co.
Audius.co? No, I believe they do have two websites. But the one I'm looking at, because their advisors, they have Dead Mao. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that. Dead Mao 5. 3 Lao. I don't know.
Yeah, Dead Mao.
Dead Mao.
And then Lao.
Jeremy Gardner is also working with them. Justin Kahn, co-founder of Twitch, is an advisor. But the main thing, though, that really got us were the investors, right? So Coinbase Ventures. Coinbase is the largest U.S. crypto exchange. They're about an IPO. Kleiner Perkins, one of the best VCs in the space in the Valley, is backing them. Pantera Capital and Multicoin Capital. So and Binance as well, right? So they definitely have a good list of investors backing them. So just based purely off of that, we think it's definitely worth looking into. Now our team of blockchain engineers will go through and see if there's anything in their GitHub available for them to do a code review. But so far, I mean, it is very interesting. It's also trading already, right? So if you go to CoinGecko, I think it's done pretty well already. It was trading since last year. Let me just pull it up. So the market cap is 203 on CoinGecko, and market cap is 170 million. Daily trading volume almost 90 million, right? Which means there's definitely lots of interest. It's up 274% in the last 1 month. So there's been lots of, I would say, FOMO or attention on this. It's trading on Binance already, which kind of makes sense because Binance was an investor. So I think it's definitely worth looking into. Now, whether or not it makes sense as a long-term investment remains to be seen. But I think based on their early backers backing it, based on just being able to kind of pass the Binance criteria to be listed, and then also it's also trading on FTX with a trading volume, I think definitely worth looking into.
Yeah. To add on to that, I believe I also saw that they have 3 million unique users or followers, something like that. And they're also going into NFTs as well. So I feel like NFTs and music could be huge. So I believe the news about NFTs probably why the price started rising as of recent. So I think it's going to do really well, actually, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just announced up potentially supporting NFTs in the future. And I think it's going to be really good for the music space. I've been, researching music in the blockchain for the past few years, and Audius is definitely the clear leader. So I'm excited to see what they develop. Thanks for taking the question and reviewing it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, that was just an early review, right? But we'll have a deeper dive on it. Yes, and you're right. So they have two sites. So the company site is audius.org, and the actual site is audius, audius.co. And if you go there and click start listening, you can actually, I believe, play some music, right? And I think, so one of our analysts, Forrest, told us that the trending track on there is by Hannibal Buress. I guess he's the comedian. That has almost 17,000 plays. So definitely very interesting, worth checking out. I'm actually playing a track. Okay, yeah. So anyway, definitely worth checking out. But yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Cool. All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. We actually have our team on here as well. Let me bring them up to the stage.
Hey, Ian.
Yes, go ahead.
By the way, if you make your team, on stage moderators, over time they earn more invites to hand out to people. If you make them moderators,
they learn what? Sorry.
If you make like Ugo, Paul, or Mateo moderators while you're speaking,
okay.
Over time that will give them more invites. Like they earn more invites.
Okay,
so
awesome.
they could.
Yeah, I'll do that now. Thank you, Will. And for those who are just joining, welcome. This is a room being put on by Token Metrics. We're a cryptocurrency investment research company that helps crypto investors, mainly retail traders and investors, make money using machine learning, analytics, and data. We're here just kind of having a good time, helping answer any questions you have around crypto. Definitely check us out at tokenmetrics.com. We also have free content available on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/tokenmetrics, and we also have a podcast as well, tokenmetrics.com/podcast. And if you missed this or if you have to go, no worries. We'll also upload a recording of this onto our podcast and also onto YouTube if possible. All right, so we're taking questions in order. So just raise your hand if you have any questions you'd like to ask. Oh, Eugene's in the building. What's up, Eugene? Let me bring you on stage. Eugene's one of our advisors and early in crypto. Okay, next up is Beniam. Hello, how are you?
Oh, hi, Ian. How you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, doing great. How about you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm one of your subscribers, recent subscribers to your channel. Yeah,
Awesome.
great
Welcome.
work you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Glad
Thank
to have
you.
you on board.
No problem. Thank you. Just got a question regarding economy.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go into that, apology. Just be careful about recording. Apparently, Clubhouse they got a rule no recording, so just double check it. Because like we run another Clubhouse and we were told like we weren't allowed to record it. So just be careful on that. But anyway, beside that point, my question is regarding economy. I don't know whether you had this project has been going on for like 2-3 years, and now they seems to be coming forth with their
now it's been moving very, very fast. We actually heard about this project back in 2018 or 2019, I think, because one of our friends, Ben Gadenzi, was an early investor and backer of this project. But obviously that was during the bear market. But now that NFTs are blowing up, it's been doing very, very well. Our team is currently researching this project. But looking at it, I mean, in the last 1 year, it's done a 88x return, which is pretty crazy. Meaning that $1,000 in this project 1 year ago would have turned into $88,000. And then in the last 30 days, it's done a 48x return. So this has definitely gone to the moon and beyond in the last 1 month, riding the NFT hype. Now, the interesting thing is this is running on GoChain, which was an ICO back in 2018. And they were a fork of Ethereum, but I think basically more centralized to make it go faster. So that honestly is not building confidence in me. The fact that they're running on basically a small blockchain that just forked Ethereum and didn't really do much innovation, in my opinion. However, the company, to my understanding, does have some pretty legit partnerships in the NFT space, which is definitely worth looking into. On CoinGecko, it shows no market cap, but it has over 10 million in daily trading volume, which is good. But the question is, will this really have long-term staying power versus Ethereum and versus Flow protocol, in my opinion? But I mean, as a trade, it's definitely panned out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate that. I've been divulging into it. It's quite amazing the amount of partnership they have. Like they got partnership with AMG Motors and the whole sort of Batman collection and so on. So they got great partnership. But I was just thinking about the coding and the detail. But thank you for your help.
No worries. Anybody on the panel with any thoughts on Ecomi? Anybody here an investor in them or trading them?
Right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I guess not.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Anybody here on the panel really into NFTs? Because that's something we're also getting more and more into. We're actually thinking of minting our own NFTs. Our audience was telling us to mint our crypto songs because we have a crypto music album. And we're thinking of maybe turning that into an NFT and maybe even the music videos into an NFT. So stay tuned. If you want to check out the crypto music, just go to tokenmetrics.com/music. Okay, next up on stage is Ben, I guess is Levi. Okay, let's bring you up on stage, Levi.
Hey, thanks, Ian. I appreciate it.
Hey,
that was a really cool mention of the audience as well. I hadn't heard of that project, and it seems awesome. So I'm looking into that now. But my question was about DeFi, and I saw that you guys just recently teamed up with BlockFi. It looks like. I wonder if you had heard of Nexo, and what your thoughts are on these different entities that are allowing to earn the interest on the different tokens, and if there was a specific reason why you chose to team up with BlockFi.
Yeah, a good question. I mean, Nexo is they're well known in the space, right? They also have a token or cryptocurrency, which is ranked 66th in market cap. So it's $1.4 billion right now, and the token has actually done pretty well in the last 1 year. It's done a 15x, which is pretty good. But honestly, from doing the research in terms of crypto lending platforms, right? The ones that really jump out the most, I mean, I would say from an institution perspective is BlockFi, and from a retail perspective is Celsius, right? Nexo, I only know one friend of mine who's a VC, and he used Nexo last year, and he had a pretty bad experience with them in the sense that he got liquidated during the flash crash, and he lost, I think, almost $500,000 in Bitcoin. Based on, and also from my earlier research and comparing other projects, Nexo hasn't really had the best reputation in my circle, so it's not one I would personally use, right? I personally use mainly DeFi protocols because DeFi, I think, is the future. DeFi, you basically have control. It's non-custodial, and to me, it just makes the most sense. If I had to go through any centralized entities, it would be those two. It would be Celsius and it would be BlockFi.
Cool. That's good to know. When you say he got liquidated, is it because he was loaning against his collateral and then it dropped and so they sold it off, or?
Yes. Yeah. Right. So I think this was actually during Black Thursday. I think actually might have been Black Thursday when crypto just tanked like 30-40%. They sold his collateral, but he was saying that technically they should not have sold it. I'm not sure exactly what the actual technical details were, But even prior to that, I've been told that Nexo is not the best option to go with, right? And even in my research, when I was thinking about possibly lending out crypto or even borrowing crypto, Nexo did not make the cut. It was pretty much BlockFi and it was Celsius, and I think those kind of cater to two different audiences. Celsius is more for retail, while BlockFi is more for institutions and people who are mainly in Bitcoin. If you're really into altcoins, I'll go with Celsius.
Okay, cool. And I don't know if it's cool to have a little two-part question, but I was curious if you had known about this other company that was based here locally in Austin called Unchained Capital.
Yeah, I'm actually going to their happy hour next week, or barbecue, I think. It's a VC firm, right? I think for Bitcoin SV or something like that. Because somebody invited me to their barbecue, I believe.
Yeah, sort of a storage, I heard, and they're also providing loans against collateral.
Okay, interesting. Well, I'll definitely learn more at the barbecue next week.
Nice. I hadn't heard about it, but maybe I'll see if I can join as well.
You also in Austin?
I'm currently working in Austin, yeah.
Oh, dude, come through. I mean, so on the 25th, we're doing, Token Metrics will be sponsoring the Ethereum Austin meetup. So basically on the 25th, which is a Thursday, around 6 p.m. We'll share information through our social media and on Telegram. So if you're in Austin, definitely come through. Last one we had over 30 people come through. This was during COVID, and this was when Austin was about to get snow. So it was actually a pretty good turnout considering all of that, right? So the next one, partnering with the Ethereum Austin meetup, we think we'll have probably twice as many people there.
Right on. I'm on the newsletter as well, so hopefully I'll catch wind of it in time. I appreciate it. Right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Let's actually go to the panel. Anybody here with any comments, anything they want to kind of chime in with or share? Want to open up the floor? Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Ugo. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I would definitely like to come to the Ethereum meetup as well in Austin. I don't know, most of you know that there was a proposal basically for Ethereum to go to proof of stake, and that's going to start in July. So very excited about the gas fees reducing in Ethereum. I know that has been a huge problem in the DeFi space, and with farming and all these things. So very excited if Ethereum can really fix the gas fees.
Yeah, I mean, come through, man. I mean, when I say meetup, it's basically a happy hour, right? So just open bar, open food, and networking with people in the crypto space, from developers to investors, right? Just good people, good vibes, good time. All right, let's go to Justin. Hey, Justin, welcome to the clubhouse.
Hey, Ian. Thanks for having me on the stage.
Yeah.
I actually don't have a question. I have more of a comment,
and
I'll try to keep it brief. I've been following you since 2017, and I wanted to take this moment to thank you. I figured out what you were doing at the end of 2017. I quickly learned the game, and in January 2018, I told a friend of mine that I was going to set up financial goals, a very large and aggressive financial goal to complete in 3 years. And I didn't quite meet that goal in 3 years. Mm-hmm. It took me 3 years and 1 month. And the things that I learned from following you has like permanently changed my life. I'm financially free today because of you and the stuff you do. So I just wanted to thank you. It's been an amazing journey. I'm a Token Metrics customer. I'm a very happy customer, and I just think what you're doing is just so wonderful.
Wow, that's beautiful, man. I love it. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for being there with us since 2017, since day one, and thank you for being a customer. Right, that's definitely why we do what we do. Right, because our goal is to be able to give people financial freedom. Right, and we think crypto is that. Right, so definitely love hearing stories like that, and we want to help other people also gain financial freedom and be able to just kind of do whatever they want in life thanks to crypto. So that's beautiful.
And if I can make one last comment, the the algorithm. I know you guys made a change in December. I've noticed an improvement, and it's working really well.
Yeah, awesome. What currencies are you holding? What cryptocurrencies are you holding right now?
Well, the majority of my portfolio is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I have some Polkadot. I've got Ren, a ton of Ren. I've got a lot of stuff that's not quite on Token Metrics yet, like Rook. I'm trying to think what else I have off the top of my head.
So can I ask you a question? What's been your strategy that's kind of done well for you as an investor?
So I'll tell you, it's pretty risky. You actually just talked about Nexo. I've been using Nexo. There's this old philosophy that somebody told me a long time ago. And it says if you want to make a lot of money, you have to have a lot of people working for you or a lot of money working for you. And I think most people are looking at BlockFi and Nexo as a lending platform, but I use it as a leveraging platform. So
okay.
Very interesting. I take ETH. I take the ETH that I bought personally. I will deposit it on. I use Nexo, so there's nothing wrong with BlockFi.
Yeah.
And then I will borrow.
Okay.
And then I take what I borrow and I use that to go buy more, and then I deposit it, and I just keep that method going. And what that does is it's essentially the same as doing a leveraged investment.
Now, why that as opposed to doing that through like DeFi or Aave or Compound? Why those platforms?
Well, at the time I started, I just didn't know about Aave. I'd be willing to use other platforms, but I just started with Nexo. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all the success, for sharing that story, and for being a customer. Definitely want to have more people like you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Then let's also welcome a few other people on stage. Bill. How are you, Bill? Can you hear us, Bill?
Ian, hi. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Bill's our chief technical analyst at Token Metrics. Bill, how about doing a quick introduction to the room?
Certainly. So as Ian said, I do the chart work for the Token Metrics group across, all of crypto and all markets in general, branching into portfolio strategy and even small coins and soon to be television. I have a 12-year background with Goldman Sachs and a couple of years at Morgan Stanley before that. So I understand the legacy markets. I started in crypto in 2017 because guys who used to read my work at Goldman were really interested in what I thought of crypto. Because when I was in legacy, I did my best work when the market was volatile, which as we know is a daily occurrence in crypto. So when I saw Ian's group, I pretty much couldn't sign up fast enough, and I'm eager to help everybody, change their life with crypto.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Definitely a great story and great background. Okay, so for those who are just joining the room, this is a room being put together by tokenmetrics.com. We're a cryptocurrency investment research company. We help people invest in crypto using machine learning, analytics, and data. Our team is here on the panel and just answering any questions you have around crypto. So we're taking questions in order. Just raise your hand if you have any question you'd like to ask. So next up is Jeff Snyder. Welcome to on stage, Jeff. How are you? Okay, I guess Jeff is not yet ready. Can you hear us, Jeff?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. How are you?
Awesome, Ian. How you doing, man? Great.
Yeah.
Great. I wanted to I love this. Thanks for the invite. I just wanted to elaborate on what the previous person said about Nexo.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've used that for many years, and the reason why it's a pretty cool platform is because you can leverage Bitcoin, link a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. So what's really interesting about it is that it's multifaceted. It's not just like Maker where you're using Oasis, and I use that as well with pretty high leverage and buy more crypto. And Nexo has basically a platform where if you have the token, you get lower rates. So when you're borrowing, you can get down to like 5.9%. And then if you're actually earning interest, you get the Nexo token. So if you're at the highest level with Nexo deposits, then you can get an additional 2% in Nexo. So it kind of works like Celsius in a lot of ways. But it's a really great opportunity to leverage and buy more crypto. And I also use Maker as well, but that's you got to be careful because they have bots that
they can get you.
That can get you. But anyways, it's allowed me to grow my portfolio with leverage to
now, question for
multiple.
you. So how do you manage your risk when using leverage?
Nexo is a lot more liberal with its I call them margin calls. Really, that's what it is. It's like margin trading, basically. That's what I look at it. Like when you have a margin account, stocks. But with Oasis, which is the Maker platform, I try to keep it, around 200%, and there's a delay, so it's every hour that it updates, but it's an hour behind. So with the Maker platform, you have a little time. If it got a little bit dicey, you can just trade some more DAI and pay it back and get it back to a more reasonable percentage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With Nexo, there's a bigger spread, so you're not as much at risk. But the interest rates are 9% and 2% if you're a platinum holder of Nexo. So if you're holding Nexo in that Nexo account, you can earn 9% on the Bitcoin and then another 2% in Nexo. So it's a really very high reward type of scenario when it comes to earning interest in crypto. So anyways, that's
good to know.
My 2 cents.
So what question do you want us to help answer for you?
Well, I own 30 student housing properties, and I include Wi-Fi. So I'm getting ready. I'm waiting for
helium?
my helium
Nice.
miners, and I'm going to put them in at least 20 because some of them are right next door to each other. But I'm on the phone with Helium tomorrow, and I'm pretty pumped about that because in my city there's no hotspots, so I'll have like 20 or 30 of them. So I just wanted to see what your experience was. I know you talked about when you were in Maryland or Washington where there wasn't as many hotspots, so the rewards weren't as large. But
they weren't that good. But here in Austin, it's been amazing. I'm about 15 minutes from downtown Austin, and my helium miner I changed the antenna and bought a different antenna that's 8 dBi. So I have that here on my 3rd floor in my condo, and it's doing pretty well. It's making I think about 300 to 400 HNT a month. Which comes out, so it's been averaging, last month was about $1,500 in 1 month, which is pretty good considering that the device cost, like when I got it, it was about $400 to $500. So basically you buy a device for $500 one-time cost, and if you can make $1 to $2 grand a month easily, if you're in a big city, I mean, it's a no-brainer to me, right? Actually, if anything, I bought more Helium network because I'm planning to apply. I applied a while back to be a validator, so hoping that goes through, because right now they're doing test nets for validators to stake, and you have to have over 10,000 HNT tokens for that. But I think Helium is definitely good. I mean, it's been pretty much a cash cow, right? And I think for anybody who's new to crypto, who maybe doesn't want to put in too much money, or maybe wants to kind of make money passively, I think mining it through Helium makes the most sense, because it's very easy. It's plug and play. You don't have to be a computer expert. You just plug it in, open up the app, and you're up and running.
So if I had 50 grand in helium tokens, and they consider me as a validator. What are the advantages to being a validator?
I believe they give you 12% rewards in helium tokens annually. So basically, if you're bullish long term, you basically just run a node through AWS, and you earn 12%. So you basically stake your helium tokens and earn an extra 12% on that each year.
How important are having companies or products that are connected to that network for the rewards? Because I know that the use case is that you lose your dog and it has a sensor in it that's connected to the helium network, and so there's big use case right now for different products, like your wireless, like your refrigerators and all the things that talk to the internet. So does that matter?
Sorry, the use case?
Yeah. So basically, there's companies that connect to that network for their products, right? So that's why the infrastructure is being built. It's because there's a need for that type of low frequency Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I mean, the use case is they're building a decentralized IoT internet, and that's kind of I would say their first phase. But I think long term they can, because from some early conversations when I met the team at their offices in San Francisco back in 2018, they're kind of hinting at that if once they tackle IoT, they can really just unleash this and do internet access to anybody, right? So where it goes from just being purely IoT, and I think also that's why they're shifting towards the validators and staking, because if people can host nodes through their AWS accounts, and then you also have the wireless network, because they just crossed over 20,000 hotspots, and they've been growing very, very fast. They opened up in Europe last year, the US the year before that, and this year I believe they're going to open up in Asia. So I think they're definitely on the path towards building an internet for anybody. And then they have good partnerships, right? They have Nestle with the IoT fridges. They have Lime scooters, right? So all those Lime scooter devices, they have to go online to be able to track and kind of send data back to their base, as opposed to paying these telecom companies expensive fees. They can just piggyback off of people's hotspots, right, that share their Wi-Fi connection, and go online and pay people in crypto in the Helium token. So, I mean, to me, the use case just makes so much sense.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Thanks for turning me on to it. I'm fired up.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, actually, so I'm here on the site. If you go to helium.com/stake, they actually have yield estimations. So this all depends on how much helium gets staked. So assuming that 1 million helium is staked, you could earn 360% APY or APR in helium, right? And then worst case, if you have, let's say, 10 million helium staked, it would be 36%. So not sure where I got the 12% number, but this can be very, very lucrative if you're in early on this. So I'm definitely gonna try to apply it and have this node running once it's live.
What you need to do is buy some apartments that include Wi-Fi and then put hotspots all over your apartment.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the way to go. I mean, because there's somebody in our professional group on Token Metrics. He has over 50 devices in New York City, and that was last year. I'm sure by now he's probably close to 100. But he's basically just buying them, going to businesses, knocking on the doors, convincing them to put the devices in their buildings, because he gives them a profit share, right? He'll basically take 80%, he'll give them 20%, and they're making money, because to them it's just passive money, and for him it's even better, right? So lots of people are doing this. The biggest one I know is called Emrit, EMRIT.io. Rumors are they've ordered over 10,000 devices, and they basically, you go on the site, you apply, and they'll give you a free device. They'll ship the device to you, and they'll basically install and control the device and give you 20% share, right? So for somebody maybe who wants to have devices without having to buy any or put up any capital, that's definitely one way to go. Plus, I think they also have an affiliate program as well, which somebody was talking about, because I met one of their ambassadors here in Austin at a crypto event.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hi to Bill.
Hi to Bill. Okay, yeah. Yeah, hey, Bill. You want to talk to Jeff?
Hi, Jeff. Thanks
Bill,
for coming
what's
on
up,
tonight.
man?
Glad Helium's working out for you.
Yeah, you get me all fired up with your passion. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Sir, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
All right, let's...
You guys have a great night.
All right, thank you. Take care. Let's open up the panel. Anybody want to kind of share any additional comments or input? No? Hey, yeah.
I would add on. Yeah, to me, it's just very interesting. Just like you mentioned, Ian, that every time that we want to talk about or somebody wants to get involved in the blockchain space or in crypto, Helium is definitely such a good way to show them, and it's a perfect example of how they can get involved in crypto, have a product that provides a service in the real world and uses blockchain, leverages the technology to kind of allow you to show the tokens, show the balances. You can go into the website and check every single Helium hotspot and how many tokens they've produced. So it's such a great tool to show people what the blockchain space is capable of. So even if you do own some Helium hotspots, or if you're just learning, or if you want to get your family and friends involved, I think this is one of the best projects to show the power of blockchain and how this has an actual application in the real world, and at the same time making profits, right? Like somebody just mentioned, okay, you can buy a whole bunch of apartments and put hotspots if they provide Wi-Fi. And if you kind of consider the returns that some of these Helium hotspots are giving, they might be able to help you pay the mortgage. Besides that passive income you're also going to be getting from rent. So just very bullish on Helium. I actually ordered mine, I believe in November. I'm still waiting for them. So if anybody in the audience is planning on getting their feet wet with this technology, I recommend that you go and you place your order now, because there is a large back order in Helium hotspot. And then I believe last week we heard somebody that was kind of rebuying them off the second of eBay, I believe, right, Ian? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I wouldn't really recommend that, because I don't like buying anything that's related to blockchain or crypto on eBay or any platform like that.
As well.
But if you are interested, if you are interested. And you want to do a little bit more research, just make sure you get it done fast, because there is a demand and a large back order for these devices. And if you want to have a little bit of urgency under your feet, just look at Ian as an example, right? He's getting about 300, 400 tokens a month. If you go look at the value of the token, then that's very interesting. And you don't want to wait and delay 1 or 2 months before you make this decision. So I just wanted to add on to the conversation in terms of Helium hotspots. But yeah, I think everybody that's been involved in Token Metrics for a while is definitely bullish on Helium.
Yeah. I mean, so actually one other thing that came to mind is, if I wasn't busy with Token Metrics, I think the real boss move would be because Helium open sourced their specs, right? Meaning that their hardware designs are open source, because they're trying to make this really something that's owned by and controlled by the community. That's basically owned by the community. So I was thinking, what if you took those specs, went to a manufacturer in China, and had them just create your own device? So kind of like the Rack Miner, the Nibra Miner. Like honestly, if you put up, let's say 50 grand, you could probably make your own devices and not have to wait for back orders, right? It might take a while to actually manufacture them, but I think that if you have the capital, that might be a better move, right? Because then you could just make the devices for yourself and just mine them, or you could even resell those, right? So I think there's definitely ways to make money with Helium, especially if you have any experience with maybe doing Amazon FBA or doing any private label items overseas in China or with Alibaba. Definitely worth looking into as well. All right, thank you, Mateo. Let's go to the next question. Let's pick some people who haven't been on stage yet. Let's get Anderson.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, how are you, Anderson? Welcome.
Hey, good, thanks. So I just heard the story of Justin's stories about he just spoke a while ago, and I'm happy for him though. But unfortunately for me, it was the opposite. I started following you back in 2017 when you started making the videos and stuff. I actually invested about 120,000, and I was negative. I want to say 80% after 6 months, and I just kind of gave up on it. And coming back to your channel and seeing, Token Metrics, the new way that you guys are doing things, I kind of subscribed it for the investor package, and I came back to it. Everything was in my hard wallet, and some of it was in my Binance account.
Okay.
I just put some money back into it, but I'm still negative.
Okay. Now, what year did you get into crypto?
2017. That was actually when the bull run happened.
Okay. Now you said you lost 80%. How did you allocate that capital in crypto? Like what coins did you invest in? What percentage?
I didn't lose it because I didn't sell, right? So
you didn't.
I bought some Bitcoin. I bought some. It wasn't some. It was just a fraction of Bitcoin, and I was heavily on Ether. But then I exchanged everything to. I made some good money on Simple Token because I got into the ICO. However, I didn't sell, so everything just went downhill after a couple months. I got into ontology, Quark chain, Eden chain.
Now, so how much were you allocating into all these investments, like all these ICOs? Were you putting in like 5% of your portfolio? Were you doing like 50%? How did you kind of break that up?
So actually, I didn't have that percentage mindset. I just figured, let me put 20K on this one and 10K on the other one. I also bought into one called out of 120. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's kind of something that we've been trying to tell our audience on YouTube as well, right? You have to kind of have a data-driven approach to investing in crypto, right? Because if you're not, if there's no strategy, it's basically just gambling, right? Like even with me, like when I'm investing in altcoins, I don't put more than 5% of my portfolio into any altcoin. And even those that I do put 5% in, that's after doing lots of due diligence now with our team of engineers going through and doing code reviews, and our team going through and actually looking at the actual project, right? Because I think I've seen stories kind of like yours before, where lots of people get into the space, they see the hype, the FOMO, people are making money, and they go all in, right? They kind of go all in without really managing risk, right? And I think risk management is definitely something that's crucial, even in a bull market, especially in a bear market, but even in a bull market, you have to manage the risk, because even the best investors and traders will be wrong, right? Like no one's perfect. So you have to make sure that when you're investing, that you can live through bad trades or investments, right? So with me, with my strategy, right? Imagine you have 120 grand. I would just allocate, obviously I can't tell you what to do because that would be financial advice, but what I would do with 120 grand is basically like take 5% of that and only put that in the best projects that I think have long-term value. That's kind of what I'm doing now. And the thing with crypto, right? You also have to have a very long-term mindset, right? Because the good projects, there'll be lots of winners. There'll be lots of losers, but eventually the idea is that one winner, those few winners, will return the entire portfolio. This is basically a VC approach, right? VCs invest in, let's say, 10 startups, and they expect 8 or 9 to go to zero, but one of them to be the next Uber, the next Facebook, the next Google, the next Amazon, right? So looking back in 2017, there were some winners. I mean, most projects crashed, but the real thing is, can those projects bounce back, right? For example, Chainlink bounced back from the bear market, and now it's top 10 market cap. Synthetics bounced back from the bear market. Aave bounced back, right? So there were definitely those big winners, and the idea is those big winners, they'll end up making up for all those losses, right? Even with the Ethereum and Bitcoin, yes, they crashed, right? Bitcoin corrected over 80%, Ethereum corrected over 90%. But if you sold early, if you gave up, then you lost money. But if you stayed in and maybe you didn't sell, right, Bitcoin or Ether, you'd be up now, right? So imagine if you bought Bitcoin at the top back in 2017 in December at $19,000, and you saw Bitcoin crashing, and you had a very short-term mindset, and you sold and left and never came back, you'd have lost that money. But those people who had that long-term mindset and stayed in, now with Bitcoin over $50,000, now they're up on that investment, right? So I think having that long-term mindset definitely helps out a lot.
Right. And my other question was, because I received an email from the newsletters back in this past Sunday, regarding a project that scored really, really high. I think it was 92%.
Casper?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were about their lockup for the options that they got for the whitelist, for the sale, for the private sale.
I mean, because I'm also looking into possibly investing in that. The option I'm looking at is probably 6 months, because while I am bullish that we'll be through I think I'm very bullish this year. I think this year is going to be a bull run, but I think as we get close to Q4, things might get bearish, because that would basically be almost a 2-year bull run, right? And I think just as a hedge, I don't want to be that person who had tokens locked up for 12 months and then bear market comes, right? So I think 6 months to me made the most sense. I know actually Ugo here on the call was thinking probably even a different time frame. I think you're thinking, what, 6 weeks, Ugo? Was on your looking
at? The 40 days is the one that I really like, just because it comes out in May, and I feel as if the market will be bullish then. The 6 month one, I think the market could be high up there, but I just feel like I like the third option a lot better. But that option though is way oversubscribed, and I think that one would definitely be a race to the finish. That's the one most people want, in a sense. Even though the price is high, it's still only locked up for 40 days. So most people are gonna go for that.
Right. So you think it's the option one, which is 12 months, it's pretty risky?
Well, I mean, we obviously can't tell you personally what to do, but I think that's something that I would, even me myself, I think it's risky. However, if I had a super long-term mindset, let's say I'm thinking like 5 years, then I think it's fine, right? Because from a technology perspective, Casper is definitely good. But I think right now, the biggest lesson I learned from the last bull run and bear market is liquidity trumps everything, right? Sometimes, I mean, because honestly, we had a chance to invest in Casper Labs when we met the team at Ethereum DevCon in 2019 in Osaka, Japan. But this was at the bottom of the bear market, and we're like, we're in a bear market. Nobody wants to touch altcoins, and we don't know when we'll get liquidity, right? So we passed on them back then. But now, obviously, the project is about to be trading, and I think it's going to do pretty well. I think this could be maybe the next Avalanche or the next Cardano, kind of like in that crowd of trying to compete with Ethereum. But I think liquidity trumps everything, right? If anything, it's probably even better to kind of take an approach where maybe if I do go in, maybe I would get some through the CoinList token sale, and then maybe some on exchanges just to kind of hedge, right? But I think liquidity is definitely having control of when you get out of a project. I think that's everything, especially in crypto, because anything can happen, and the last thing you want to do is be locked into a project when you want to get out.
Right, 100%. Yep. Yeah. I just gotta. I think my situation, just gotta spend more time on on things that are related to crypto, so I can educate myself. And your videos though really do help, but I think I gotta just kind of focus more and kind of learn more strategies where I don't invest more than I can
like the 5%. Obviously, it's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely suggest checking out the Token Metrics indices on our platform. We have indices for different crypto exchanges that really take our AI and help you, or they kind of guide you through what they would do in terms of allocating capital towards a portfolio, towards a different time horizon and investment or trading strategy. So I highly recommend checking that out. Some books I can also recommend, books I liked. There's one called The Intelligent Investor. Actually, no, it's called The Intelligent Asset Allocator. Then there's one called pretty much any book by Howard Marks. The Most Important Thing. That I think is the best book out there in terms of fundamental value investing. He's kind of like the new Warren Buffett in a way, right? I think that's the best investment Bible I've read. I think it's better than all the books by Warren Buffett himself and even the ones by Benjamin Graham.
Awesome. All right, I really appreciate the opportunity, though. Thank you very much, and keep up with the good work, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back on stage, back into the audience and pick somebody. Okay, let's pick some people who haven't been on stage yet. I see Jeremy.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. So I signed up for the professional package today. So this is my first foray with you guys.
Awesome. Welcome. Good to have you on.
This is also my first time on Clubhouse. I already had the account, so pretty cool. So here's what I want to know if anybody here has already looked into. I'm pretty bullish on ADA and DOT, but I'm also already thinking about the bear market. And has anyone here in the audience, or you guys, have you guys looked into doing the validator pools or for the staking? Like for ADA, I looked at the tech specs. You know, they want you to run it on AWS, very small machines. They're promising like 700% on the returns. I think it's a no-brainer just to print up maybe 5 of these just to start. But there's no liquidity in there. And I got out of the bear market. I got out of the bull market. I converted everything to ETH. Like the all-time high was like 1440. I was able to get out at 1227, and I got out pretty well. And I know Cardano is going to be a very long-term hold, but obviously we're expecting a 90% pullback during the next bear cycle. Like, does that stop anyone from wanting to do the mining or the validating or the proof of stake?
Good question. I think it depends, right? It depends on how long of a mindset you have as a value investor. If you're short-term, staking probably does not make sense. But I think if you're long-term, especially if the bull run is not over yet, I think maybe we could probably ask Bill, because Bill has been looking at ADA recently from a kind of a technical perspective. Bill, what do you think about ADA and after the big run-up? Okay, I think, did we lose Bill? Okay, I think we...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I mean, so, because there's been lots of hype on ADA or Cardano recently, with people speculating that it's going to go to $50, which I think is ridiculous.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But I think... Sorry, go ahead.
I think like $8 or $9 like would be best case. You know, worst case, I'm hoping like 5. But is that like you have to do a pledge if you want to stake it and run the pool? And I just don't know if it makes sense to run it during the bear market if it's going to retrace all the way back down to $1.
Now, what's the lockup when you stake for ADA?
You pledge. It's kind of you pledge. The more you pledge, the less returns you get. However, it's supposed to make you look more attractive to have people join you, but it doesn't really help you. So I was thinking about, like, on their stake calculator, they say 10K ADA, and you get 778% back. So you get 77,000 ADA a year. And then if you bump that up to 100K, it still says you get 77,000 ADA. So I'm thinking maybe if I just do some 10K notes, but I think it's also about perception, because you're trying to get the public to join you. So I think like the top node right now is called Spire, and they've pledged like 1.5 or 3.5 million ADA to their pools to try to make them look attractive. I think it's a waste of capital, but I don't know.
I mean, in general, my philosophy on staking is I like to be liquid. So right now I'm currently staking a few projects. I'm staking Matic / Polygon. And I think with them to unstake it takes, I think there's a 1 to 2 week cooldown period. But for example, a project I'm very, very bullish on, Ethereum, even staking for that, I didn't really do because there was a 1 to 2 year possible lockup. Right now, the good thing is a new project launched that I ended up getting into called Lido, LIDO, and the token is LDO. So they have basically staked Ethereum token, right? It's basically a synthetic token where you basically just buy the token and then they airdrop the rewards. So you basically send Ether to a smart contract. They then lock that up. Then they airdrop the rewards to all the token holders for ST ETH, right? So it's kind of a way to stake Ether without actually having to be locked up, right? So I'm curious to see if anything like that ends up being launched for Cardano's blockchain. But in general, I would definitely just be careful, right? If you're willing to lock up Cardano for a long time and okay, you know what? If a bear market comes, I'm still fine with this APY, then it makes sense, right? So I think if anything, the question is, when do you plan to sell, right? So for example, if you're planning to sell in 5 or 6 years, then the bear market is not really a factor as a question for staking. You basically just stake, right? Because if somebody was taking ADA now over the last 3 years, they're now making a ton of money, right? But if your plan is to get out within 6 months, then staking might not be ideal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ADA staking is very fluid. You actually retain the custody and you can just switch pools or pull out whenever you want. But the actual running the stake pool is where you put in the pledge and it's locked up as long as you're running the pool. And if you ever pull out and you're not holding the pledge amount, then your stake pool is deactivated.
Okay, so it's kind of like a validator? No.
Yeah, it's a proof of stake. So I called it mining earlier, but it's just a proof of stake machine that they're using.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and then,
if you're able to get in and out, then it probably does make sense.
All right, cool. Now I was wondering if anybody did the process with that or not, but
not myself. Anybody on the panel who's staking ADA or looked into it?
I have not at this moment, no.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll probably build the cloud components, and then I'll just let you guys know how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely do. ADA has been doing pretty well recently. Thank you.
Yeah,
Jeremy.
Thanks for your time.
Okay. For those who are just joining, welcome. This is How to Invest in Crypto the Smart Way, being brought to you by TokenMetrics.com. We're a cryptocurrency investment research company that helps crypto investors, mainly retail and traders. Retail traders and investors make money through crypto using data analytics and machine learning. Our team is here just answering any questions you have. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/tokenmetrics. Also our podcast, tokenmetrics.com/podcast. And we also have crypto music as well, tokenmetrics.com/music, if you want to hear some crypto jams. So we're answering questions from people who raised their hand. We're now bringing people on stage who haven't had a chance to ask any question yet. Seeing here we have, I think, Saint74. Let's have you come up on stage.
Hi, Ian. Quick, how long was I talking to myself there? Did I get the Cardano thing through?
Can you hear me right now?
No, Bill.
You dropped off.
Yeah.
Oh.
But go ahead if you wanted to kind of share your thoughts on Cardano.
Okay. All right. So to encapsulate, Cardano went from 10 cents to $1.50. Cardano is eventually going to follow along with the whole .ETH trade higher because there will be more than one DeFi highway. I just suspect now that Cardano has got to trade in some sort of range and consolidate the gains before it can go up. It's the same thing that Polkadot did, like between 4 and 8 before it really took off. sometimes markets want to test your patience. So I think with ADA, especially since there's all this hype, there's going to be a patience test. And there could be really outsized gains in like the ETH ecosystem. There's a lot of stuff that we're looking at, a lot of coins like Perp and Alpha and Rari Capital. These coins seem like they're so compelling that I bought them myself and that they're in some of the portfolios that we're putting together. So DeFi 3.0 is going to have more than one way to trade it. And I think the Ren move today is starting to tell you that, you know, DOT could really wake up and be the beast that everyone maybe thinks ADA is. So ADA, ETH, and DOT are all going to go up. You just want to catch the one that's moving. Right now, I think the ADA move is done, and it's going to move into the small coins in the ETH ecosystem and maybe DOT itself. All right, so I can turn it back over to you now.
All right, thank you, Bill. So let's go to Saint74. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you? It's great to connect with y'all. I briefly got the free trial to Token Metrics, but due to financial situations, I had to let that run out. The bank account couldn't hold its fortitude. But I'm grateful to be on here. Grateful for the content you guys put out. My question is, it wasn't originally this, but I had something happen to me. So I was on a Coinbase wallet, you know, trading there on their browser through Uniswap. And I saw a reward button, so I pressed it. And now, to put this into perspective, my portfolio was around, I'd say like $3,000, and it just gifted me 400 Uni tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So I that was unexpected. I'm just trying to see if that's happened to anybody. And it pretty much just 10x, or not 10x, but it gave me $10,000 extra dollars.
Yeah, so that was basically an airdrop, right? So Uniswap gave an airdrop to anybody who's ever used Uniswap. That's basically a DEX. For those who are new to crypto, it's basically an exchange. Same thing also with the 1inch exchange. They also gave out tokens to anybody who's ever used their protocol. And those tokens, if you've held those for a while, like the Uniswap tokens are now worth over $15,000 if you didn't sell. Right? I mean, so it's definitely been a very profitable airdrop to their community and users, and it's helped them really kind of give them better marketing and just better engagement in the community, because people always like free money.
That's honestly very incredible. And with me I've been involved in crypto maybe 10 months. I'm 21 years old. I'm from DFW, Texas. I'm over here in Fort Worth. So shout out to you down the street in Austin.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess to follow up with that, this, to me, to a 21-year-old, that's a lot of money. And so I would like to, I know y'all can't, necessarily give out investment advice, but I almost can't believe that this actually happened. And so
that's why I'm trying to get people into crypto, right? That they're literally giving out free money.
Incredible.
Right? Yeah.
My ego doesn't want to believe it.
No, I mean, but that's I think the perk you get for being early in something. Like sometimes you're so early that they're literally just giving out free money and you're in the right place at the right time, right? So basically, there's a common saying that luck or getting lucky is simply preparation meeting opportunity, right? And if you're prepared, there are opportunities always hitting you in the face all the time. And sometimes they're so easy that sometimes people hesitate or miss them, right? But like Uniswap was, if you were just early and curious about DeFi, about DEXs, about crypto, and you just used your platform once, they gave you tokens. And now those tokens, if you held those, they're worth $15,000, right? And I think Uniswap is going to maybe even enter top 5 market cap, right? So I think Uniswap is just getting started, right? Especially once they launch version 3, right? So for me, the only thing I miss is I've held the tokens, but I wish I bought more. I wish I actually bought more when it launched, because it dipped and people were basically saying, oh, you know what? This is just an airdrop. It will crash. It's going down to almost zero. But because our team did a code review on Uni when it launched, and it scored over 90%. Right? So we knew from the get-go, like it was a very solid project. Wow. So I just wish we bought more when it launched.
Yeah, that's incredible, especially to hear from you on that. And I suppose my best bet would be just to hold on, just to hodl this through the bull run, because it's now my largest token I have.
We can't tell you personally what to do, right? But me personally, what I'm doing, I'm not selling, right? But because I have very high goals or targets for Uniswap, where it's going. Because right now, if I go to CoinGecko real quick, Uniswap is now entered the top 10, right? It's at $33. It's up, but I think Uniswap can definitely, because Uniswap I think is better than XRP. XRP is pretty much dead coin, right? Uniswap is pretty much outside of maybe NBA Top Shot and those NFT dApps, the most used DeFi application out there, right? It has a $17 billion market cap, current price of $33. But if we go to the actual ROI from the bottom, which was on September 17th at $1.03, it's done at 31x. So basically, if you, because I think when they launched, their price was what? Let me take a look here. When they launched, the price opened at $3.44, so it was basically about $3.50. Went to about almost $7. Then it crashed and came back down to $1. And that was 6 months ago. Right? In 6 months, it's done at over 30x return. All right. And I think this is just getting started, because the way DeFi goes, the way Uni goes is the way DeFi goes, right? And DeFi in 12 months has gone from $1 billion locked up in DeFi to over 40 billion in 12 months, right? And I think if DeFi is really going to blow up and institutions get into DeFi and crypto goes up, I think it's reasonable to expect DeFi to go to $100 billion TVL, total value locked up. I would say by the end of the year. I would not be surprised. If anything, the growth is typically exponential, right? So I think as crypto keeps on going up and up, it should get even more crazier. And I think at the forefront of that is Uni.
Wow, there could be no better time than now, I suppose.
Yeah, but one thing to add on to that, right? Even though I'm personally bullish on it, right? I kind of have a very super long-term mindset. If I was in your shoes myself, right, I would definitely take some profits, right? I would definitely take some profits, and especially let's say if Uni was 90% of my portfolio, I would definitely take some profits. I wouldn't sell everything, right? But let's say maybe whenever a new ICO, whenever a new project comes that is very, very good, right? In my opinion, right? Let's say like recently, like Casper Labs or some other project, I might maybe sell like 5% of my Uni to ETH and then use that to reinvest, right? But I'm always kind of keeping a good allocation of Uni for the long term. But that's what I would personally do.
Thank you for that, Ian. And when you say take profit, would you said you would reinvest that into Ethereum, correct? Not Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, that's for me personally. I don't own any Bitcoin because I'm pretty much at this point almost a DeFi maximalist. So, because I trade on DEXs, I trade on One Inch Exchange, because I can trade through all the different Ethereum DEXs and get the Ethereum tokens. And then also being in America, most of the good altcoins, like for example, I was trying to buy Flow. That's listed on CoinList and on Kraken, but then they blocked off Americans from buying it. And so all the good products I like, right? Either Americans can't buy them, or by the time they're on Coinbase, the money, the real money has already been made, right? But by the time something lists on Coinbase, it's like most of the money has been made on that investment or trade. So for me, I like getting in early, and the beauty of DeFi is now you don't have anybody stopping you, right? You go on Uniswap, One Inch Exchange, tokens launch there, you just buy them yourself, right? So that's why I'm very, very bullish on Ethereum, and that's really why I just stay on Ethereum, right? Even with Polkadot, I love Polkadot, but I mean, having to go into these different exchanges and go through their regulations or where they block off Americans, that's a hassle to deal with, right? And being able to just trade or buy assets on DEXs, to me, keeps things very, very simple.
Right. And I've heard a variety of different perspectives. I'm sorry to keep going. This will be
no, it's fine.
Okay. I'm very much, thinking into the long term. So of course, yeah, I want to get those low cap gems, but I'm thinking for longevity, everyone talks about stacking sats. If it would be more rewarding to, kind of use Ethereum or Bitcoin as like that hedge that consistently keeps going up. And in a sense, you don't have to worry because it's always historically gone up over time.
In terms of Ethereum?
If I may?
Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
All right. So let's talk maybe like asset allocations. Do it that way.
Sure.
So the first thing is Ian already hinted at it. Fortunes are made by buying low and selling too early. It's an old saying. You don't sell everything too early, but you want to take something off the table and have 1 month's rent and 1 month's car payment in a lockbox in your house.
Right.
You'd be surprised how you'd sleep better at night.
No doubt.
So, if it's Uniswap Christmas, try to think about it in those terms. Now, in terms of like ETH or Bitcoin, we can't give investment advice, but we do helium, and we can give hardware. We can talk about hardware. So if you get yourself a Trezor, those, if I'm saying it right, those hardware wallets, and, you want to tuck, 1 ETH or, some Bitcoin onto one of those things and keep that in that lockbox, that's also a good way to go. You want to keep your crypto secure. You want to be able to take advantage of what may be a nice run up between, say, now and Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But you also want to remember to pay yourself along the way. So yes, Bitcoin and ETH, they're kind of the crypto classics. But, if you're remembering back on this conversation after, say, a really, really big run up, there's another Wall Street saying, which is, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. So if there's a huge run up, always pay yourself, right? There's like, I'm going to protect myself with what's in the lockbox, and I'm going to pay myself and be proud of myself when I win, like you did on Uniswap. And sir, congratulations for being early on that. Nice work.
Thank you so much, Bill and Ian, for y'all's service, man. And I thank you. That was beautiful. Now I look forward to connecting with y'all on that. I believe it's the Ethereum meetup on the 25th. Yeah, I'm going to make the drive, man.
Awesome. We appreciate that. Yeah, so we'll announce the location, but it will be in Austin, probably at a restaurant or bar, 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Beautiful, man. I'll be there. Much gratitude to you both. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. All right. Anybody on the panel with any additional words or comments they want to share to our audience?
I had a quick comment because I was kind of the same position as Saint 74 when I got that Uniswap airdrop. I held a lot of it, and I rolled a little bit into Ethereum by myself, a good chunk. If you end up deciding to hold on to it, and it's going to be a long play for you, I think it's something you should possibly consider is depositing that Uniswap into Celsius. You can start gaining interest on it, so that you can keep kind of growing, kind of be earned not only for holding it and it going up in value, but just for holding it in general. So I think if you consider to do that, it might be a good play for you.
All right. Thank you, Zach. So Zach handles marketing on Token Metrics. Okay. Let's go back to the audience and see who we're going to bring up on stage here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let's get I believe Saifo. Hello, Saifo. How are you?
Hey, Ian, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, thanks for all you do, man. I'm a proud customer.
Awesome.
And a happy customer as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I had could you speak about the time when I think you lost like $2 million or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, most people would sort of like give up or take years to come back from that. So my question is really, how do you build that kind of resilience to be, and you were pretty calm about it as well. And how did you bounce back from that so quickly?
I mean, it's just it's the mindset. It's the I mean, well, first off, I would say from a psychological standpoint, my psyche is wired different, right? I noticed from taking even some psyche some tests, right? Like there's the Big Five test. I'm very low in neuroticism, right? I think I mean like my on a scale of 0 to 100, I score very low, right? And I think also just kind of being somewhat introverted means that I don't really express myself too much emotionally, right? Like even when I'm mad, I don't really get mad. So I'm just kind of I'm not the kind of person who wears my emotions on my sleeve, right? So I would say that does play a factor. Then the other thing is just that the mindset I have is, I've kind of shared this with my audience, is I'm trying to become a billionaire, right? And to me, I basically had turned 20 grand into $5 million in less than 1 year. And then I lost $2.5 million through a hack. But when I got hacked, yes, it sucked. But even I probably just kind of felt bad about it for maybe half an hour, right? But I knew that I messed up, right? Like that was my mistake, and there was no amount of emotions that was going to get that money back, right? Was the mindset, right? Because I know in crypto, once it's confirmed on the blockchain, it's gone, right? So I knew crying about it wouldn't fix the issue, right? All I knew was I had to learn from this lesson.
You moved on pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, I mean, because the blockchain is immutable, right? So I knew that, okay, I messed up. This is a very big lesson, right? How do I learn from this? How do I move on from this? But the mindset was also that they stole the money, but they didn't steal my skill, right? So my mindset was, I'm Ian Bellina. I just turned 20 grand to 2.5 to 5 million in 1 year, right? Yes, it sucks, but if I lost all my money, I knew I had the skill to make it back, right? So that was the mindset I had, right? Plus, at that time, we were just literally printing money in the bull run, and I had just gone full time into crypto, and I had so many different ideas of launching businesses. At that point, I hadn't yet launched 100x Advisors, but there were many projects that were reaching out to me, wanting me to advise and consult them, even to a point where I was turning down. At one point, I turned down $3 million consulting engagement because the project I knew was a scam, and I ended up being right? But I was basically, I was in a position of, I would say, power, where I had so many options to make money from both investing and also from consulting and just creating businesses. Plus, I also knew I had the skill. So to me, it didn't really kill my spirits, right? Because I knew at the end of the day, what the hackers were trying to do was kill my spirit, right? And that's the part I would not let them take from me, right? And that's why in basically 3 months, I basically was able to make the money back, all right? I was able to basically get a big corporate sponsorship from a company in the crypto space that pretty much was the exact amount of money I lost from the hack, right? And then there's actually a good ending to the story, because 2 years later, the FBI caught the hackers, right? And now the hackers are basically going to get persecuted in trial after COVID opens things up, right? So, but the mindset.
Hey, Ian. That's good.
Yeah, but wait. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, I mean, so the mindset as well is that my goal is to become a billionaire, right? And be able to give back to Africa and help inspire other entrepreneurs who look like me that, hey, anything is possible, right? So who am I to cry over losing $2 million, right? If my goal is to become a billionaire and I can't make it back, then, I mean, I don't really deserve to become a billionaire, right? So the mindset I have is I'm a financial athlete playing a game of science, right? And I've said this on the show, and I think we should probably make some merch out of this, Zach, is because an athlete, they train, I mean, professional athletes, they train in a particular manner, right? That's how you become LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Ronaldo, Messi. Like you take your craft very, very seriously, right? And I think in finance, I take my craft very, very seriously. Plus, I also know it's a science, and I think that's something people don't quite get, because at the end of the day, the market does not care about your feelings, right? The market is the market, right? And I say it's a science because there are particular laws to making money that if you get, making money is very, very easy, right? So for example, let's say Elon Musk and SpaceX, they want to fly a rocket ship to Mars or to the moon, right? The laws of physics won't care about their feelings, right? They still have to obey the laws of physics. So with me, I kind of view finance or investing in the same manner that at the end of the day, your feelings don't really matter. You have to really master those laws. And for me, that hack in a way was me having to learn that lesson of mastering basically security, right? Like if I want to make this money in crypto, I have to really get my security down pat, right? And that was an expensive lesson, but at the end of the day, I think it was definitely helpful because that made me change everything.
Yeah, and to add to that, and I was one of the team members that kind of assisted in tracking down those hackers. And I could tell you, around that time, Ian was very busy. I believe you were on your world tour at that time.
Yeah.
You didn't have any time to kind of focus on that. So, our team, we tracked down the hackers. We spent weeks, and Ian would just drop in and get updates and all that sort of thing. But, not a moment was he ever stressed about it at all, because he knew that, we were being proactive. We was doing what we needed to do to attempt to freeze it. But if he didn't capture any of the, hacked funds, he wasn't stressed about it one bit.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, I mean, Will was definitely very, very instrumental with our team in terms of helping track the funds and just really helping work with authorities. So definitely great job. Actually, Will, let's talk after this. I have some other updates to give you.
Yeah, for sure, bud.
All right.
It's a very inspiring story. Very helpful actually, because it's all about mindset, isn't it? Like, I know a lot of us are going to get wrecked eventually, like when the bear market starts. So it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean,
how you handle that.
I mean, to kind of add on to that, right? It's kind of like going back to the athlete example, right? If you followed Kobe Bryant, or even Michael Jordan, right? A good athlete is not gonna, if they miss a shot, they aren't gonna dwell on that shot. They're on to the next one, right? Because you have to really be in the moment to be able to really maximize the opportunity for success, right? If you're dwelling in the past, then you'll miss opportunities that hit you in the face in the present moment, right? And that's why I've lost money even in investing, right? From Sparkster and other projects. But even with that, right, I didn't really dwell on it much because one, I managed my risk. I only put in what I was willing to lose. Plus, I knew that me dwelling in the past is not going to bring that money back, right? I knew for me to really maximize making money, I have to be in the present moment and really looking at the present opportunities in front of me and not letting those be missed because I'm dwelling in the past.
Yeah, and I could definitely vouch that you really did that throughout that whole hack.
Yeah.
Right. Just one more question, Ian. On Dodo. I don't know if you heard about the hack.
Yes, yeah, I did.
I know you guys had it as like 87%. Could you just go through how you do the code reviews and stuff? And do you know anything about that in Dodo?
Yes, yeah. I mean, so the way we do code reviews, we go through, obviously anything in crypto can get hacked, right? Even the best projects can get hacked. But to me, actually, I was actually kind of happy for the hack because I missed out on Dodo because I was hoping it would dip and there'll be a correction because this is still a legit project. But my understanding is they got hacked recently. Was it today or the other day? Right? The current market cap
yesterday or something.
Yeah, so it's down about 15% in the last 2 weeks. So the way we do code reviews, our blockchain engineers go through the code on GitHub, and they basically just do and see how good the quality of the code is, whether there's good documentation, whether the architecture makes sense, whether the design makes sense, whether the developers have a good development history on GitHub, right? So they're basically going through the teams or the developer's background, right? Whether they have done a very good job programming the actual protocol or their smart contract. So that's what we're going through. We weren't really quite doing like a security audit, but that's something we do factor in. Now, Dodo did go through numerous security audits, right? But even audits don't catch everything, unfortunately, right? But to me, their hack is not really anything that makes me lose confidence. If anything, I think it's a good buying opportunity as a long-term value investor, because Dodo is trying to compete with Uniswap. Uniswap has a market cap of 17 billion. Dodo has a market cap of basically 400 million, right? And Dodo is basically working on both Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, and they're being backed by Binance. So to me, I mean, I've been eyeing Dodo for after that review. I'm hoping it pulls back even more so I can possibly buy some.
Cool, thanks. That's it.
Okay. Anybody on the panel with any comments on Dodo or anything else we've covered?
Just the latest update kind of mentions that they were able to recover $1.89 million, and they're going to be actually returning some of these funds to the affected parties. So I know that they're making an effort to recover most.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mateo. Okay. Let's see who's next up here on stage. Now let's bring McNeil back. Hello, McNeil, can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes.
I just had a quick question. I heard you guys talking about what was it, helium?
Yes.
And I have a small portfolio of properties. I was just wondering, do I have to have a certain type of internet, like high-speed internet? Can I take these boxes and put them in all of my rental properties?
Yeah, I mean, to my understanding, there isn't really a speed requirement, right? Because the devices going online are IoT devices, and they don't usually have requirements for fast internet, right? Because these are like Lime scooters. These are just small, tiny devices. So I think any internet would work. So if you have properties, then that definitely would be a good business strategy, I think.
Yes, and I'm ready to get started on that tomorrow. So how do I get started? What do I do? Where do I go?
I mean, helium.com/store. But right now they're backlogged because everyone's trying to buy them. And when they drop new supplies, they're always selling out, I think, in like the first day, because there's basically FOMO, right? That's probably the best thing to do. If you have, I would say, the time and the bandwidth and maybe the capital, and maybe some experience, or somebody who has experience with I would say just sourcing with different manufacturers. That's something I would look into as well. It kind of depends if you're willing to kind of get deep into weeds, but that's probably what I would do because of the backlog. I'd probably look into possibly also making your own designs through manufacturers, because the design specs are open source, right? So, because the backlogs, if it takes 3 to 6 months to have new devices, and they sell out in the first day, it might be even a year until people get devices. So I think what I would personally do, if I had the bandwidth, I would just take those same open source designs, contact a manufacturer in China, and have them reproduce them at scale, and then just make my own devices. That's something I would do. But outside of that, probably just have to wait in line.
So, are there any other besides helium that devices are available?
Outside of helium, helium is the only one. We're looking into a cash network as well, but they're not. We're still doing a code review on them, so hopefully by the end of this week we'll know better how good their technology is. They're basically building a cloud on the blockchain. Helium is building more of a network on the blockchain, but that one has also actually been performing pretty well. But our team is still looking into that one.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you. Okay, all right. Let's go to the next person. Let's see who hasn't gone. Let's see Barry Bitcoin. Let's have you come up on stage.
Ian, what's up, man? Been a while. Hope you've been well.
Yeah, doing well. Doing well, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. You probably don't recognize my voice, but crypto family all the way. Hope you've been well. And Ugo, what's up, man? Just wanted to hear your thoughts on what you've been focusing on with passive income. Passive income, it's very important, especially given that we're in a pandemic and a lot of people have lost their jobs. And what better way to make money than crypto passively?
Yeah.
We both have been in Helium very early on, and I think Helium's a great pick. And, in addition to your point about Helium's devices, open source, there are some third-party companies that are creating the devices too. So something really that's been helpful, and I think they've been I think they're actually shipping the devices this month or next month. So there's 3 or 4 companies that are third-party companies working alongside Helium to, ramp up production. And I think they want to have 100,000 nodes by the end of the year. So
yeah.
Would love to hear your thoughts on what you're focusing on, passive income or otherwise.
Yes, I mean, for me, I've just been focused on finding good projects with a low market cap, right? So good projects meaning that projects that our developers score 80% or higher from a code review perspective. So for those who are just joining, our engineers share every Tuesday and now also every Sunday. We go through and we share code reviews to our customers via email and also on our platform. And for me, anything that scores an 80% or higher gets my attention. And then I look for something that has a low market cap, right? So something, it's not really a general rule, but I would say something ideally under 40 million market cap. But in general, I would just say something that has a 10x potential, right? Because sometimes it could be something with $500 million market cap like Matic, right? So I doubled down in Matic after they announced the news that they would be building interoperability for Ethereum, because I knew from there that could go to possibly $5 billion market cap. So I got more. And so far that's turned out pretty well. It's done like a 3x. And now today they announced a listing on Coinbase. Once I do that, then I'm looking for ways to earn income passively. So with Matic, I'm staking that directly on Matic's website. That's paying out about over 20% APY on Matic. So I'm very bullish on that long term. So the APY makes sense. And then I'm doing yield farming and staking. So by adding liquidity on different platforms from SushiSwap to 1inch Exchange to even directly on the project's website itself. Then I'm also yield farming stablecoins. Recently, our team looked into Vesper Finance. It's a yield aggregator, similar to Rari Capital, which is also good, and also kind of like herein. So they have a yield farming incentive now where if you deposit USDC, they'll pay you 16% APY, which is high compared to other platforms. And then they also give you over 50% APY in their own token in their VSP. So about 2 days ago, I added some stablecoins on there. So that's kind of what I'm actively doing. But there are also a few people here on the team who are also actively going through different passive investment. Maybe Ugo or Matteo, do you guys want to share what you're currently doing in terms of passive income?
Yeah, sure. Let me jump in. So for me, I'm also doing some farming as well. There's this project that I'm farming. I started doing it since November. PokerSwap, Polkadot Dex, and the whole Sora ecosystem. I believe the parent project PX for investors early on. So that's why I'm really, really bullish on PokerSwap, and it's been good. It's been gaining traction. I also use Token Metrics and leverage it to find the top picks that they have, and I go and I stake on 1inch Exchange. And I also recently started kind of following new projects. I get in their whitelist, and if I get in the lottery, it pretty much costs like 300 to 400, and these projects typically do 20 to 30x. And if I get whitelisted, I typically get in these projects and kind of flip them to Ethereum. I sell typically like 50%, buy more Ethereum because my goal is to have more Ethereum. So that's kind of what I've been doing actively, and it's very low entry in a sense of capital because all you do is invest tops 500, and these projects do really, really well in a sense. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm also looking for new projects that come out that kind of stay, because that's the new model now. When projects come, they kind of have a huge allocation for liquidity mining. So if I see that the project is very good long term, I kind of have that long term mentality. So when people are selling, but I see that I can stake this good project and make more, I tend to kind of do that and go against the grain. I don't typically follow what everyone else is doing sometimes. I kind of stick to research and the fundamentals for the most part. But yeah.
So what do you, for example, what projects are you guys staking? Or I guess that's my first question. My second question is when it comes to liquidity pools, are you guys concerned about impermanent loss at all?
Yes, impermanent loss is definitely a factor. And I believe one platform that really does a good job in terms of mitigating this is Bancor. But I do know that with Poker Swap, definitely I think when I got in the project has done 5x. And compared to Ethereum, which is doubled, I definitely am suffering some impermanent loss in that arena. But the way that I'm seeing it, I'm kind of holding for the long term, hoping that eventually either Ethereum catches up or something like that. It's a tough one, but I do believe that the project that I'm farming is going to outperform the impermanent loss that I'm suffering. So that's kind of the mindset I'm going into it with.
Yeah. I mean,
awesome. Thank you.
To also add on to that, I mean, so that's why the APY on the yield is typically very high, is to reward you for the risk you're taking on that impermanent loss, right? So for example, like you will, if a project does a 5x, you would basically lose 25% on that project as opposed to just holding that project, right? But if the yield is high, like if the yield is over 200%, and it's a project that will appreciate long term, and you're earning in that token, then it's very, very, I think for me, it's basically free money, right? But you have to really have the perspective that what you're farming will have value long term, right? If you're just kind of degen farming, then I don't think it's really worth the risk.
Yeah, totally. I guess my last question is, when it comes to the blue chip cryptos, you guys are hodling long term. What are they, and how do you guys come to those decisions? Is it based on the people behind the project? Is it the investors?
Right now,
so what are some examples?
It's kind of everything, right? But I would say mainly the code reviews that our blockchain engineers have been kind of putting up on the site or through our newsletter to customers. And that's mainly because if the code is good, then I think for me, if it's over 80%, then I know, okay, this has good quality and a good chance of surviving the next bear market, right? Because after the last bull run and bear market, we're not really looking for the next 100x, right? We're looking for the next 1000x. And the irony is, it's easy to get 100x in crypto because everything's pumping, right? But the question is, will that project survive a bear market and go back and above and beyond its last all-time high? So for example, Icon did 100x back in 2017 and 2018, but Icon still hasn't even reached its all-time high. Icon, I think last time I checked, was around $2 or $3, and that's the price we sold at, right? We basically sold all the way to the top and all the way down. Let me pull up Icon. Yeah, Icon is still under $2, right? And the reason is the market evolves. Icon, when it came out, it was one of the better products, but now, even in its own niche of interoperability, there are better products like Polkadot, there's Cosmos, there's Avalanche. All these new projects are launching, and people in crypto have shiny object syndrome. They're always looking for the next sexy thing. So if a project hasn't really done much and the space gets more competitive, you want to really invest in something that has long-term staying power. And the way I view it is, it's kind of like in the dot-com era when, yes, 90% or 95% of stocks crashed, but the blue chips survived, the Google, the eBays, the Amazons, right? And in the same way, in the last bull run, yes, most projects died, right? I would say 95% of projects and ICOs died, but there were those winners. There was the Chainlink, the Synthetics, the Aves. Those projects really survived the bear market. So we're taking that same approach now and saying, okay, what can we invest in that, yes, it might do well or it might move slow, but if there's a bear market, it will survive that based on having solid technology, and it will bounce back and go above and beyond its all-time high. And those are the projects we're looking at now. And right now, I think the value is really in DeFi, especially on Ethereum, because those projects, there's actual value. For example, Uniswap. If we go into a bear market for 2 years, Uniswap is going to survive because they already have users. That's why I haven't really been touching anything on Polkadot, because to me, it's just reminiscence of the 2017 ICO bubble on Ethereum, where projects were raising funds with just a white paper, because Polkadot technically is not ready yet, right? So yes, people can make money on it, but when a bear market hits, these Polkadot projects that are not functional because Polkadot is not ready yet, and they're just raising money, and they're pivoting because they raise funds in Ethereum because they can't really do it on Polkadot, and then they pivot and become an IDO platform because there's no actual utility for their token yet, right? Those projects are the first ones to crash when a bear market happens. And then when it's time to bounce back, I think it's going to be very tough for them to bounce back. But for example, if we take Helium Network, they have over 20,000 hotspots, and they're growing very, very fast, right? So yes, there could be a bear market, but if people are making money by sharing their Wi-Fi, that gives people an additional incentive to hold. That's why if you go through every single correction, Helium has been pretty stable. It's been acting almost like a stable coin in a way, right? And I'm pretty sure in 2 years, if there's a bear market for 2 years, Helium will still be growing at a very good rate in terms of hotspots, because right now there's just so much demand. I don't think the demand in a bear market will subside, which gives me confidence that if there's ever a bear market, Helium will be one of the first projects to bounce back, right? So those are the projects I'm getting into, because I think that's where you really get those large 1,000x returns.
Totally. The last thing I'll say, Ian, is, and for everyone listening, you guys should know Ian is an incredible gem hunter, and he helped me. I discovered Dragon Chain. He brought it to my attention in 2017, and I made like an 80-something X and paid off my wife's student loans. So, Ian, kudos to you, man. I think you know who I am now.
Oh, Barry. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Barry? Yeah, I mean, because
what's up, man? How's it going?
Good. I kind of thought it was you, but like the Chinese avatar kind of threw me off.
That's my Twitter picture, man.
Yeah.
But you know who I am, and yeah, dude. Anytime you're in New York, let me know. It'd be great. It'd be great to see you.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Barry.
Yeah. Good to see you again, Barry.
Ugo, man. You too, guys. Take care, and you guys, everyone listening, is in great hands with Ian and Ugo and Bill and Willie. So, yeah, all the best, guys.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we've been going for over 2 hours. Unfortunately, I think it's time for us to wrap things up, but we can definitely continue this. You can find us by just going to our website, tokenmetrics.com. We have discounted trials available to try out the platform. You can also just follow us on YouTube by just going to youtube.com/tokenmetrics. We're posting daily videos on crypto, kind of like this, just sharing our market commentary to analysis on the crypto space. We also have a podcast, tokenmetrics.com/podcast. And yeah, I mean, thank you all for joining. We'll be creating a room here in the future, so all the different Clubhouse rooms can be here. And yeah, thank you all, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Hey, Ian, let's hop on the call.
Yes, yeah, all right, cool. I'll call you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.